I felt pain in my chest, and right away I knew what this was. I was having a massive heart attack after years of being a good husband with a loving wife, and I lived a good life with my own family. I would leave behind my family, my wife and my kids, and I remember the last things I said to them. I told them to be better than me, to do better than I ever did. What I really should have said is, be good like me, kids, but do everything else better than I did. In my final years alive, I remembered watching a show that I was very fond of in my old life because I married a beautiful black woman. I was often fond of that show, P-Valley, and I said if I ever had a chance at a new life I would be a better man than Derrick Wright ever was. And then it all happened so fast. I was now standing in the body of Derrick Wright, but with the mind and the soul of a good man that never abused women but loved them like a gentleman should. But now I have super intelligence and I have the powers Superman, but I never wanted to reveal those powers to anyone. But my intelligence is a different story. And then I saw her, Keyshawn, the woman that Derrick Wright would one day marry and later abuse. But this time things would be different because I'm not Derrick Wright. My real name was James Hero, and I was a good man, and I was taught to be a gentleman and treat women with respect and to never abuse them even if they hit you. And now, because I have the powers of Superman, I would never hurt Keyshawn. Then the day came when the other football players started to bully her and insult her, so I stepped in and I did something about it. But unlike the original Derrick Wright, I barely put any effort into knocking the guys out after they tried to hit me. I made it look like self-defense, and I didn't have any trouble with the teachers. And then I realized what a bastard Derrick's father truly was, so I made up my mind I would not only become a professional NFL football player, but I'd also become a billionaire that has his own business, and I would even encourage Keyshawn to become a stripper if she wants to. I'd even allow it, and I'd even bed Mercedes and Haley Colton, and I'd also save Uncle Clifford's strip club in the future. And then right away I figured out how to start making money, so I used the internet to my advantage in this era, and I became a famous YouTuber and social media influencer. I became famous for performing impossible feats that are superhuman, and people couldn't stop watching me. They started calling me the Invincible Man, and I even found a way to make money on the internet using stocks, and I also found a way to make the first successful Shopify store, just in case me and Keyshawn get stuck during COVID-19. So I made sure I was prepared, and on the night I went to prom with Keyshawn, I made sure before that time that I prepared everything for our future. So I took Keyshawn to senior prom, and she never had any problems moving in with me because I could now afford a nice house and everything else. So when I got her pregnant, it wasn't hard at all to take care of her and our babies, and unlike before, I never abused Keyshawn, and I inspired her to become a famous stripper. And she even said that I don't have to do that. I know I don't, but I want to. And I said, well, do what you want then. I want you to be happy, baby. No matter what you're doing, I will always love you and support you. And then that's when she started working at P-Valley, and before I knew it, the canon events of P-Valley started to play out just like in the story. But this time when Uncle Clifford needed help, Keyshawn came to me, and I helped him out in exchange for getting a lap dance from Mercedes and Keyshawn. And then that was the night I made love to Keyshawn and Mercedes Woodbine at the same time, and I told Uncle Clifford to allow it, and so I had sex with Mercedes and Keyshawn both at the same time at the P-Valley strip club. Moans of pleasure and ecstasy filled the air as I did Mercedes Woodbine in every sexual position with my wife Keyshawn kissing me passionately. And then I came inside Mercedes' vagina, and then she sucked my penis ravenously, and then I came in her mouth and she swallowed it, and I did the same thing to Keyshawn. After this, Mercedes got pregnant again, and I also knocked up Keyshawn again. After that, I grew closer to all the other female strippers in P-Valley over time because of how I helped Uncle Clifford, and Keyshawn didn't have a problem with me having sex with the other female strippers, and neither did Uncle Clifford. And then one night I saw her, Haley Colton, and I was instantly hypnotized by her beauty, and I would make sure that she stayed away from that married man Andre Watkins. So one day I decided to make and that's when I found her held up in an old rundown motel room somewhere in town. So I knocked on her door and I said hi, and she said, what do you want? And I said, I just want to talk, Haley Colton, and I know who you are and why you're here, and don't worry, your secret is safe.